Dorothy.
How you doing?
Great.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
This is Donna.
Well, hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Hi. Hi, how are you?
And Jennifer. Now then. Gosh, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Held up by the traffic, but
Yeah.
you're here and singing like a bird.
Thank you.
That's good. This is Les Dawson, who...
We just kissed.
We've never heard of. You won't have heard of him. And be very careful. He's a father, but you want to be careful of him.
You're a new father?
I certainly am. I've got a 5-week-old daughter.
How cool.
Oh, for
Come
heaven's
see her
sake.
after. She's lovely.
Start all over again. I was going to say, you're here to escape from the aftermath of the election, aren't you? You're relieved it's all over, the American election.
Yeah, I think everybody is. I mean, I think everybody at home is.
But you're a Perot woman, aren't you? You're
Yeah,
a Ross Perot woman.
Yeah, I am a Ross Perot woman.
How could you be a Ross Perot woman?
Well, because, you know...
I thought you were a sensible woman.
No, but people who seem crazy sometimes are not so crazy. And I don't know that he would have made a great president, but I do think that it's important that a third party is started in our country. And,
I agree with that.
You know,
yeah.
I mean, because I used to be really proud to be a Democrat, and now I don't want to belong to either one of the parties because I just don't think...
We thought he was Elmer Fudd.
No, somebody asked me that when I came over, but, you know, he's crazy like a fox. You know, I mean, he speaks in words that people can understand, but, you know, I've talked with him, and I've talked with people who are his representatives, and I'm glad he's in, and I think he did a wonderful service because neither the president or Clinton wanted to talk about our two biggest problems. One, the deficit, and second, the economy's in the toilet. So it was interesting that he brought everything kind of back to track, especially everyone thinking he was nuts, but he really kept the focus on what was important.
I mean, it's very funny because you're very involved in politics, right? And you know a lot about them. I don't read newspapers, don't watch television, so all I hear is what my friends ring up on the telephone and tell me, which they told me. My friend Richard called me and told me, he said, do you know, that night you called up Ross Perot, he called me up especially to tell me this. He said, Cher called. He said, Cher called.
You probably got that man another 10 million votes, didn't you?
You did.
I was pissed. I was so furious because no.
This doesn't mean the same thing
Oh, no.
in America as it does here. Okay?
No, I was furious. I wasn't drunk.
The difference here is you say, oh, you were drunk.
No, I was furious.
Oh, you were pissed.
She was pissed
I was
off.
pissed off.
Oh,
Yeah. I was pissed off.
That's right.
And the problem, truthfully, was that had been trying to give him my support for 2 months, and he didn't want it.
He'd have worn it.
And that's such an old joke. I can't tell you.
You see, we here, we've got such a wonderful parliamentary system, and we
I
trust
saw them
our
on
leaders
TV.
so implicitly that it never occurs to us to think
Bullshit.
cynically.
There's no risk.
I saw them on TV yesterday. I was getting ready, and I saw the Right Honorable this saying to the Right Honorable that, and it was just so ridiculous. I mean, they were so...
Well, we feel we're in a position to criticize other countries because of our own...
It's quite different here, because I think if a guy who's got $60 million to spare, you know, ran for Prime Minister, people would immediately be suspicious, whereas in America, the idea of someone with so much money is immediately regarded as a success. He's fine, he's reliable, he's...
Oh, I don't think that at all.
himself,
I really don't think
No?
that, I mean, because lots of people have made money by screwing lots of other people. And
Well, that's
so...
a new one.
Well, I don't mean in the literal sense.
The
of
oldest
course.
profession in the
Right.
world. Yeah.
Only they make lots more money at it than women who have done it in the past. But what I'm saying is they just, you know, a lot of times people who've made a lot of money have done it in the worst ways. And I don't know, I mean, just, it's my feeling from him, my gut feeling that he's made so much money that I don't think
You don't think he's corruptible?
I don't think he would play any of the games.
Yeah, but
That is a
the
common
difference,
fault,
isn't
you
it?
know.
that's the kind of
Tragedy with power, it corrupts absolutely. That's the basis.
It's the kind of principle that
have
set
a
up the
queen.
House of Lords, isn't it? That the people who have property and enough money, was thought, would be above politics and would be above usury and would be above corruption, but it ain't true.
No, I'm not. I don't think it's across the board, but also one thing
Power.
I like about him is that he's not a Democrat, he's not a Republican, and we have a terrible thing in America where you can have these PAC people from outside interest group, and they work.
Actually, I must agree with you. You're right on that.
They work. I mean, it's a wonder that anything gets done properly for Americans at all, because we've got all these people from other countries who go in and they finance the most of the political campaigns.
Yeah.
And they work on them too. And then once the people are in, then they say, remember, we want you to do this, and then you're obliged to do that.
Exactly.
Now, if I can move on to some, we were talking about childhood and families, and Les was keeping us in fits about his family.
It wasn't meant to be. I was telling you quite categorically.
Well,
I heard something about balls. That's all I heard. For soup or something like
No,
that?
that's the way I was sat.
Oh.
And I was asking whether you, for instance, you know, how much of it is due to our parents? Were you encouraged by your parents to sing, to be a little performer, to be a child actress?
Well, not exactly. I was encouraged by my mother. I really never met my father till I was 11, so I didn't, he wasn't really a part of my life, and I was really encouraged by my mother, and my mother just told me when I was young, she said, you know, you're very unique. You're not the prettiest, you're not the smartest, you're not the most talented, but there's something really special about you, and that kind of just stayed with me.
Really?
That's a nice thing to say.
Yeah, well, it is wonderful, but I don't think children pay the slightest attention when you say things like that.
No,
You
they do.
remember
My
that.
mother said the same thing to me.
you do.
I think that's
I
very
think,
good.
I think children only pay attention, as you said, in your unguarded moments. That's what they learn from you when they look at you, how you behave when your drawers are down, when
the drawers are down.
Yeah, when your defenses are down.
Oh.
But that's observing behavior. It's one thing to observe someone else's behavior. It's another thing to be told something about you specifically.
See,
that
I
you
think,
are unique.
I
that-
think
that,
children
you know.
are born the way they're going to be. I don't think that...
I think if you look at the effect that
first.
saying negative things to kids
No.
has, I mean, I'm sure, you know, that's
It's mathematical. It's
obviously, but
algebra. Yes.
To say
Yes,
positive
exactly.
But to
things
say
helps
to a
them.
child that you're special, it's got to stay with you, because it's a nice
It
thing to
does.
say.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember my
just-
dad said to me,
Resent
What
you
did
in their
your father
teens
say
and
to you?
everything.
my father said to me, he bought me a bugle when I was 3.
Oh, yeah.
And he opened the front door and he said, blow. And I've never forgotten that.
That was really... It's a really nice story.
Glad you remembered it
Thank you for
tonight.
sharing that with us.
When I was kidnapped, the ransom money was threatened.
And they wouldn't pay it.
I was there 27 years ago. Don't step on the tagline.